It did it! Woo! Hello, everybody. All right, I got to put up this banner. Welcome to Fun.
That's sweet.
Oh, so I am so excited tonight. We have Jean here from SunPsychic Jean, and I am trying to maneuver my comments over here. I am so excited tonight because Jean has a little story to tell, and I'm going to have her tell it. Um, so, for anyone who's new to paranormal investigation, grab a deck. It doesn't matter, Oracle, tarot, pendulums. If you'd like to join in on the investigation, you're more than welcome to. Um, and we just let Jean tell the story little by little. We pause here and there to ask questions, pull cards, you know, download the messages, whichever. So I'm so excited to have you here, Jean. Thank you for coming.
Thank you, Ginger. I am so excited about finding out more about the ghost that was in my house. I know that I had mentioned it before when we were together doing readings, and I love this. It's like a mystery, unpacking a mystery, or finding out, solving a mystery, or unraveling the parts that are unknown, and shedding light on some things. I think that it's very. I think it's very. I don't know of anybody else that's doing it, and I think that it's going to be really fun.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. It is exciting. And how I came about doing this, excuse me, I'm a little dehydrated today. I was on Amber Lavender Moon's channel, and she had two different segments. One was paranormal live hangout, another one was all tarot, and I was on both. And one night it just combined, and we were going to do a tarot spread about connecting with spirit guides or spirits around us. And she said, well, why don't we just do your little girl in your home? Because I have a little girl. She hasn't been active in a couple months. So, but anyway, that just turned into something that just like, this is what I need to do. This is me. This is what I need to do. And their paranormal investigation was born. So she and Julie and Peter Watts were a part of the very first one, and we just had a wonderful time doing it. And so this is where I'm at, and I really appreciate you coming and sharing this experience. Again, to all who are new, paranormal investigation, it's tarot normal, not terror normal. So it's investigating energies. It doesn't have to be malevolent. We've had beautiful, sweet energies that we've investigated. We've had Amityville House, that was exciting. Castles, it's just the energies that we are investigating. So it doesn't have to be horror movie. I might do something closer to Halloween where we make up a story. I think I want to do that. And but tonight is all about Jean. But I would love to say hello to some people in the chat first, after I'd sip, of course.
I see Heather Jaguar Intuitive, or Indigo Jaguar Intuitive Arts, Heather, and I was on her show last night, and we had a wonderful time with her and Allison. It was lovely. I had a wonderful time.
Yes, that was fun to watch you guys. It was really nice. So, okay, I'm going to go up the chat here. So Fleck, can't wait for this. Me neither. I enjoy having you in. Oh, and then this is Wolf Hummingbird. So thanks for coming tonight. I'm really excited about this. And hopefully I'm going to plan something with her real soon. We're going to have to actually chat other than email. Nancy's here as always. Love to have you here. Let me navigate this thing. Brendan is here. Are you home, Brendan? Brendan's out getting his car repainted, just in time to start the new year at college. And of course, Heather is here. Yes, everybody grab something. It's a lot of fun to get other people's, um, I don't want to say opinions because that doesn't even fit. Intuitive hits. How's that? So, Jean's channel, SunPsychic Jean, is the description is in the description. Did I say that right? The information in the description. Heather's got it up here. If you haven't already, please go and subscribe. You do wonderful readings, and I enjoy watching you.
Thank you. It is so much fun. It is.
I
It
just,
is. It's very exciting, I think.
it's
Yeah.
very inspiring for me as well. And Debbie's here. Thank you for coming, Debbie. I'm thinking we might be about to start. Okay. Heather said it was a pleasure to finally meet you and have you on. And yes, that video is incredible of the angel.
Thanks
Always
again.
happy to see that one.
Heather was the perfect hostess, so that was really nice.
Yeah. Okay, so I think we're caught up on chat right now. I want to give everybody a chance to come in, and this is important. Let me hide my ghost here. Although in this series we get a lot of intuitive hits, a lot of things come together like a puzzle piece and make sense, but it is still for entertainment purposes only, because I don't want to get sued over anything. But we are just always amazed how sometimes there's no way of validating, but you just know intuitively that it makes sense, you know. And then sometimes I do feel like maybe not, something might not be resonating as far as the card being pulled, but as you pull other cards, things, it's like, I guess, like I said, a puzzle piece, and things just go together. So right now, if you're ready, would you like to tell us a little bit about what I'm going to enlarge in this, because I don't know if you're going to be pulling cards or I
might try. I don't know if I'll share them, but I might try just to see what I get. I don't know. We'll see. I do have my cheater deck, so my helper deck, I guess you would call it. So I bought a house, and I was single, and I was just moving out for the first time, and I didn't want to get an apartment, and the homes in my area were reasonable that I could afford to buy one. And so I bought a house, and the house, when I went to look at the house before you buy it, it was destroyed by the previous owners, who were defaulted on their mortgage, and they were evicted by the bank for, defaulting on their mortgage. So understandably, they were disgruntled and came back and just trashed the place. They there was a washer and dryer that was on the second floor that was very rare in my area, and this is about 60 miles outside of Philadelphia, in the northwest of Philadelphia, about 60 miles. And so it was a condo, but it was like a quad. It had an upstairs and a downstairs. It had 3 bedrooms, but there was a house connected next to me, and then 2 connected behind us. So it was 4 in a building. It was quite unique, and they don't make condos like that. It was more like a townhouse, but they made it condos because we shared the water, and we shared like certain aspects makes it a condo. And that's what made it affordable. And so they were disgruntled, and it had sliding glass doors, which if you really want to, anybody can get in a sliding glass door. And So they came back in and they ran the washer and dryer. It's on the second floor, and they ran the washer until it overflowed. So as soon as you walk into the front door, the whole ceiling up above was
Oh
totally,
no.
it was all out, like it was all fallen on the ground, and they overflowed everything. They jammed all of the any of the drains in the bathrooms and in the kitchen. They jammed all the drains, and they like put cement in things. I mean, it was like we had to rip everything out and start all over again. They
Oh my
really did a
gosh.
lot of damage and broke things and destroyed things and made sure that the bank would have a hard time selling it, you
Oh
know.
my goodness.
Hmm.
That's
Um,
horrible. I can't imagine people really having that intention. It's amazing.
mhm. Well,
They don't
I
obviously know anything about karma at that time, right?
no, but, it's no fun being evicted out of your house that,
No,
just
no.
because you're missing or behind on payments or something. I don't know. You don't know the
Yes,
situation.
you don't know.
So there was, you know, acts of violence, I guess you would call it, by them, destroying things and just, really taking a a sledgehammer and destroying things. And so all of the plumbing had to be redone, all of the electrical had to be redone, a lot of the drywall and things had to be redone. And I didn't mind because I just made it all my own.
Right.
And because of this situation, because of the condition of the house, it was difficult for the bank. It was bank owned, and I was able to pick it up and fix all of these things and be able to afford my first house. So
It's
um,
awesome. It's
so I
awesome.
did feel like, and I knew I was sensitive at this time. I was sensitive to energy, and I did feel
Mhm.
sort of like that bad energy still was in the house. And somebody said, just put salt at your front door, say a prayer, get a broom, and sweep it out, and sage and candles, and all these different crystals and things in your
Mhm.
house.
Mhm.
And I didn't think too much of it, but I didn't really feel very comfortable. But because this was my first house and I
Yeah,
just
yeah.
bought it, I figured, I'm gonna have to live with whatever energy is in here.
Well, that may have cleared their energy out. What you did may have cleared their misintentions out.
Yeah.
So you thought you were good.
I did, but whenever I was in the house, I often felt like somebody was watching me.
Interesting.
I just felt, um, you know, just like there was always somebody behind me. I kind of felt like a presence. And so somebody would say, when you walk in the house, just say, "I'm home now. I don't want you to bother me. Please go away." So I would do that for a little while. And I was dating, I hadn't met my husband yet. I was dating, and one of the guys I was dating came over for dinner or drinks or something, and he says, he was shocked. He's like, "Did you see that?" And I said, "See what?" He said, "There's a little boy that just poked his head around that
No
corner."
way. Okay.
So I said, and I thought, this guy's trying to make me scared. So I would run to him and say, "Put your arms around me." Like, I'm
So,
not
so at
falling for
this
that.
point, you had not seen this little boy.
No.
How fascinating. How
Yeah.
fascinating.
So, yeah. So I was like, no, I didn't see it. And I didn't. And I kind of thought he was trying to be dramatic, or I don't know. I didn't really know him very well. So I didn't know how to take it.
Right?
But now I know he probably did see something. um,
Okay.
and then my nieces and nephews were little, and my sisters always needed a babysitter. So they would say, "Aunt Jean, let's go over Aunt Jean's house, and we'll drop you off." And my nieces and nephews, they would have so much fun. I was the cool aunt, and
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know, take them for walks and
Oh,
have lots of fun. And one time when my sister knocked on my door and my niece was with her, my niece told me this account. She said that she was standing at the front door and they were knocking, and my niece saw me peek out the like blinds, like pull the curtain
right.
back and peek out. And she said, I saw you peek out at the blinds and then you didn't come to the door right away. Like it took you another 2 minutes or so to
Yeah.
come to the door. And she said, I was wondering what was taking you so long. You just looked out the window.
Yeah.
And then after about 3 minutes, I must have been upstairs or something and had to run down, whatever. So I came and I opened up the door and let them in. And my niece didn't tell me this until after I had found out about the ghost.
Oh,
She said, I always wondered about that. And
yeah.
I'm like, you should have said something. She said, I didn't know what you were doing. She was only about like 7 or 8 years old,
Sure. Sure.
she didn't know. But after the whole incident, now she's like, oh, yeah, remember this? And I'm like, oh
Mm.
my gosh. So, yeah. So to make a long story short, there's other things that had gone on and
Okay.
little happenings,
Yeah.
but
We can start our little before you get into those. Let's go ahead and start asking some questions then. Um, so what I like to do before we start any investigation, even though this is for entertainment purposes, as I told you backstage, I still take it seriously. I want to have fun, but we can't play with energies without calling in protection. So it may be fun. A lot of things start out innocent and fun, but you intentionally call in. And being both of you and I and some people in the chat sensitives, I think it's very important to call in protection. So for myself, I have already, but I like to do it for the collective as well. So I just ask everybody to close their eyes and take a deep breath. Call in your guides and your angels. And I ask for the white light of protection and Archangel Michael to protect each and every one of us here on this Ethernet, not only protecting us, but our guides and spiritual visitors as well. And though we may have lower energy beings connecting, trying to communicate, I ask for protection so that these lower energy beings do not attach themselves to us, and we will dismiss them with love and light. And so it is. Okay, my hands are a little, this is unusual for me to be a little, not sweaty, but they're not dry either.
interesting.
Yeah. Okay, so everybody go ahead and start grabbing your tool of choice. And let me go through the comments real quick, see if I've missed anything at all. I missed anyone coming in. Looks like we're good. Okay, so as with any investigation, I always like to ask about, Jackie made it. Woohoo, just in time, Jackie. Just in time. Do you have a deck, Jackie, you might want to use tonight? Take a
I
deep
love that you're
breath.
including everybody in the chat that to grab their own deck and to be
Yeah,
participating in this.
it is
I
so
think
much
that's
fun. It
yeah.
expands. It expands this knowledge that we gain and ideas. And once in a while, you like, does that resonate? Does it not? We don't know. And sometimes further on down the road, we see that connection. So yes, grab your deck. Nancy, did I already said Nancy's here, right? Yep, Nancy's here. Okay. All right. So my first question is always going to be asking, what is the energy about the land that this home was built on? Sometimes there's nothing there. Sometimes it's old, ancient energies that are on the land that may have been awakened through all this when they start taking up the land to make their foundations and stuff. So my first question is, what is the energies around this land? Could be good, could be not so good, could be mutable, neutral. What is the energy of this land?
Can I tell you what I got first?
Sure. Where is this again? What state was this home on?
Pennsylvania,
Pennsylvania. Okay.
just outside of Philadelphia, about 60 miles.
Okay.
And I'm not a tarot card reader, so y'all have to tell
Oh
me.
no,
But
that's like the tool of choice.
I'm reading tarot. I'm going to do it because I have my little cheater cards here. And when you said what's the energy of the land, I pulled the Nine of Swords, but in reverse, and it says issues and problems not dealt with.
Okay.
It says hopelessness and severe depression and torment.
Interesting.
That's the energy of the land. I thought that was appropriate. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
Okay, and then Nancy's doing the Stolen Child Tarot. Tonight I chose to use my Marchetti deck, my go-to.
Do you think it matters if you have one that you read for personal readings and one that you read for like the paranormal? Or is it all okay?
I say it's all the intentions of the connection. Whatever tool is going to ease this connection. The very first time I chose a Halloween-y type deck because it was Amityville horror, this type of thing. Yet I've gone to, like with Mel, Woolly Hermit, I was really I was surprised. I was drawn to the John Bauer Tarot. And oh my God, it gave the most beautiful readings that coincided with the spirits that were in her home. So yeah, I don't think you can use anything that was going to help you connect. Mm-hmm. Okay, so I got the Three of Wands. Oh, I didn't. Let me do this. Okay. I want people to see the image. Okay. This is a beautiful image. So, was this property like within, I don't know, 50 miles of the water? Was there water near it? A lake or anything?
I don't. No, it's not near it. Not near water.
Okay.
No.
Well, this could also mean that people traveled there from, originally from overseas and came there, and in hopes of a new beginning. And in this image, I see that there was a little bit of a turbulent energy, but yet I don't feel that maybe what has caused anything to this home was anything like a massacre or anything like that. It's just the turbulent energies of maybe either how they arrived or getting going. They may have encountered obstacles, such energies like that. So let me see if somebody else got. I thought I was the only one in the world that had lunatic Lenormand. I love that.
I think that's a great idea to use Lenormand. I think that would really, display some answers beautifully.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Heather, Nancy, Jackie, what'd you guys get for the first question of what's the energy of that surrounding land that surrounds that property? Don't be shy. Don't be shy. Oh, Peter J. Watts is there.
Hey, Peter.
So,
can I just ask a technical question?
Mm-hmm.
So when I pull the one that I did and we continue reading, do I stick it back in the deck or do I leave it aside?
I leave mine aside because I like to see puzzle pieces. Because like right now, this is
Okay.
I'm in question with this one still. So as I lay out and tell the story, it might make better sense. So I might even go back to this first one at some point and say, okay, this is how I feel it's pulling together.
Mhm.
Um, yeah.
What does the Three of Wands usually mean?
For me, Three of Wands is that beginnings of a journey that you
Oh,
have of more of a business type journey or a um, I'm at loss for words right now. Something is very meaningful to you that you want to begin, and usually the Three of Wands is asking. Basically, you need to either ask for help or you need to, or you. It would be better if you collaborated with others. And then there's always this ship that comes in, and I love this deck because it's kind of steampunkish too. So it's
yeah.
like you're waiting for your ship to come in, but you need help in mastering this goal of yours. Um, so so let's see. She's Heather said there's definitely some suffering and deceit that took place on the land prior. Nancy said she sees a relationship between father and son, which might make sense if you seeing. Did you end up seeing that little boy yourself?
I did not.
You did not. Okay. Um, and she's using the Wizard Four of Cups. Okay, so Four of Cups is that little bit of you know, some people call it the boredom card, um, or you're just so focused on what went wrong, you can't see that things are still going good over here, type of thing. So, so that's going to be a good start. My next question is going to be, so what's the overall energy of this house itself? So we're going to pull across. I meant to pre-type all these. So that we can pull them up. I need to make a spread and show the sheet, and but because we don't actually follow in order, it's hard to say here's my questions. So let's just say once this house was built, what's the energies of the house once it was built? Hey Kiba, what is the energies of the house once it was built? So we might want to think about, did the
I'm gonna
building of the
I'm gonna
house
turn
change? Go
I'm
ahead.
gonna turn my deck around because I think I keep pulling from it upside down. I have the Ten of Swords. It says holding on to pain, improvements won't last, and fear of ruin. That's not
Interesting.
good.
So they could have had lots of obstacles in building this house. They could have run out of money at some point or run out of help, couldn't pay the help. Things like that could have happened as they were building the home. Um, I pulled the King of Wands. I'm getting a lot of fiery energy here. Cool. Pull the King of. So whoever was building this home seemed to be a very, it was a money making thing for him. I think maybe he wanted to build it, but that wasn't the only home he was intending to build. So maybe he was wanting to build several homes, and King of Wands is usually that master of the ideas. So he had large ideas that might not have come to fruition or the way he wanted them to. So there was a lot of disappointment as he was building. So that energy could have been part of what was going on.
He
Um,
could have uh, been confronted with opposition during the building of the process of building. But it was a townhouse development. There was like about, I don't know, 200 units, maybe
okay.
maybe 50 units of four. but
Mm-hmm.
it was on a hill. And, like I said, there was my house, a house next to me, and then two houses behind. And it was like an upstairs and a downstairs. It was
Okay.
almost like a duplex,
Yeah.
but they called it a condo because of the way that it was built. And they were built maybe in the late 70s, early 80s. And
Okay.
it was
So
a
they were
whole
brand new.
complex. It
Okay.
was a little development.
So it
There
was
were
a
all,
big. Okay.
hmm
So that was good. So he wanted to build. All right. That makes a lot of sense. Um,
hmm
Heather says, Jean, that's matching the energy she's getting from the Lenormand. The Empress flew out of her deck. Okay, maybe it began a safe place, but something happened. Very, very likely. Um, and then this is Wolf. Wolf for short. We'll call her Wolf. Um, so needing to set boundaries. So, I was hoping Tony would come. Tony's really good at helping us out here. um, I just saw you do that unboxing of that witch oracle, by the way. So, yeah, Phoenix, fire, fear, control. We're getting a lot of fire energy. Interesting. Yeah, okay, so as far as you know, this is the only building that's been built on this land that you know of. So it couldn't, this was not, this was built brand new at the time that you know of. So in other
Um,
words, because with
the
all this
the
fire
div-
energy, a thought would be, was there a house prior to that and it burnt down?
Oh, no, no. I think the land was farmland,
Okay.
but there was an old home up the street and not too far away. And it
Mhm.
was sort of like horse and buggy Mennonite, kind of you know um, Dutch, Pennsylvania Dutch kind of
Mm,
um, feel to it,
okay.
like Lancaster. What's the other?
Mm.
Not Mennonite, but what's the other?
Yeah, the
hmm
Amish.
Amish country.
Okay, Amish.
So this is like the history of Pennsylvania out in the far away from Philadelphia. So it's not far from Lancaster. It's not far from I guess the
Mm-hmm.
shore, the
Okay.
beach.
Okay.
Um, mhm.
All right.
But there wasn't a large body of water, but there was an old home. There were old homes not too far away, like at
Mhm.
the end of the block almost. There was old homes there that were a couple of 100 years old. And so, you know, there were
As Amber
developments
and I
there.
like to tease, maybe your home was built on a graveyard.
Oh,
We always have
yeah.
to throw that in. You
hmm
never know. Oh
hmm
my gosh. Okay, so Heather got um, the snake messenger woman, birds and letter. Perhaps there was issues with marriage, infidelities, perhaps, or husband had passed. Okay. So, okay, let's see. She pulled an additional card. She got the whip. Maybe relationship. Okay. All right. So we kind of got a little bit of the land, and so now you're home. So let me know, what was the first thing that happened that made you feel a little uneasy?
Well, if I may add a little insight or
Always.
what
Yeah.
I'm picking up from the cards that we're all receiving, I think even though we're asking about the land and asking about the home, I think a lot of this energy is about the family that was disgruntled. It's about the family that was in that home that left, or
Mhm,
something
mhm.
happened, whether they was domestic abuse or the father was on drugs, or the
Right.
father and son were
Yeah.
fighting, because there was a son in the home.
Yeah.
And what we don't know, but I think a lot of this negative energy was about the family. It could have been about, now you got the king of fire, which I
Mhm.
thought may have been the developer or the guy who wanted to like cut all the corners and try
You're
and
right.
make the money that he could, like
Yeah.
the big
Yeah.
wig kind of guy,
Mhm,
that
mhm.
the land developer that wanted to build this land. And he probably, swindled, got the land much cheaper than you know,
Right.
who knows, but he was all about the money. That's what I
Yeah.
felt when you got
Yeah.
that. But
Hmm.
a lot of these heartaches and a lot of the son and
Hmm.
father and the
Yeah.
disgruntled, I feel as though is about the family that was there before. And if not, could that disgruntled kind of, or that unsettling kind of energy have affected the family that came
Yeah.
in?
Yeah. Well, it's funny you mentioned that because, like I was saying, I this isn't resonating with me as far as something bad about the land at all. And this, like you said, acquiring the land's, the owner's intentions and stuff. And then it's funny because one of the first things while you were talking, I wrote down, did the disheveling awaken anything? So I at this point, it's for me, it's not the land at all. Um,
Hmm.
just saying. I just always like to ask about that.
Hmm.
Um, you
Oh,
are.
wow.
Well, we were laughing about the graveyards. Yeah. So, yeah. Yeah. So I feel like we're on track already because we got
Hmm.
I didn't realize it was a whole community he was developing until you mentioned that. And so, yeah, so right now I really don't feel like it's the land. So we can cross off the land being cursed. um, this is interesting. Voyeurism sort of goes with joint homes you spoke of. Hmm. Nancy switched decks, which you're allowed to do, whatever calls to you. Uh, okay. Yeah, this is free for all. Okay, so back to the home now. What in that home? You already mentioned that when you first came in, and I think it's because it was all disjointed energy of what they've done to that poor home, the disrespect to the home itself. But what was one of the first things once you settled in that
Hmm.
made you think
Hmm.
there might be something going on here?
So, um, I was minding my own business, and I would go to bed at night. And this was a home on a budget. I had one couch, I had a kitchen and a bedroom, and all
Uh-huh,
the other rooms were empty, or I had boxes in it. Like I
uh-huh,
didn't
uh-huh.
have a TV. I mean, I had a TV, I think, in my bedroom, but downstairs in my living room, it just had one couch, and that's it, nothing else. I didn't have
Okay.
any other furniture. So, and then upstairs, I had my bed, my bedroom furniture, and a TV, and that's it. There, all the other rooms were just vacant.
Uh-huh.
Um, and so I would go to get, I would be woken up in the middle of the night. I think, I was there for maybe 2 years before I ever started feeling like something was waking me up. And this is what I don't understand. Like, how long um, was it that I was just not paying attention to it,
Mhm.
And sometimes, like, I would go into the bathroom in the morning or whenever I was in the bathroom, and I would really feel like something was behind me, and I would kind of like just stare off into that little space behind me and try and see, is there something there, And I wonder what in my development, I was seeing psychics back then. I was interested in, you know, just the metaphysical phenomena. And
Mhm. Mhm.
I wonder what changed, what happened in that time frame that awakened me, or was it just a natural awakening?
Mhm.
Um, I would go to like mind, body, spirit expos
Yeah.
and different
Yeah.
things like that,
Yeah.
Um, and so I
I
was
think
woken
that
up in
act
the.
in itself helps awaken us
Mhm,
because that raises our vibrational energy and that makes us more aware. And we sometimes we go, I wish I could do that, not knowing that we can. But because we say this to ourselves, I wish I could, kind of opens that door. Let's make that
mhm,
wish come true. We all have that ability, but some of us aren't aware. And we start going to these places. And I think it does awaken without us realizing.
mhm. Mhm. So I think now that I'm looking back, because I thought, what was it? I was there for several years before I noticed it,
Oh,
and I think that I mean, before I started getting woken up, and I would be woken up in the middle of the night, and I would have a feeling, a sensation that somebody was standing next to the bed,
okay.
and I thought that was really odd. And then, like after that, I would be woken up in the middle of the night with somebody standing next to my bed, and I could hear them breathing. And
Okay.
I would just, like, try and ignore it, put the covers over my head and go back to sleep. And then I got the feeling that somebody was standing next to my bed breathing. And then I heard the radio, the clock radio go off, and I could hear the music playing. And I would like look over, and the radio was not on. I don't know what I was hearing. And it was like Gordon Lightfoot. It wasn't even like back in the 1900s or anything. It was like
Right.
actual real music. And
But your clock radio was not on?
it was not on, but I heard it, that's what woke me up, because I guess he kept trying to wake me up, and I wouldn't wake up, and even the breathing, I wouldn't wake up. And then so the music was starting, and that would definitely wake me up. So I
Yes.
would get up and sit up in bed and look around, and of course the music would stop, the breathing would stop, and no, I didn't sense anything around me, and I would go back to bed.
Okay.
So this happened, and it was keeping me from getting a good night's sleep. It would be disrupting my sleep.
Right.
And I kind of thought, you know, maybe something uh, was going on with me, I was under some stress or some, whatever.
Right. Okay. Well, I
And
would love. Okay, go ahead.
so let me just get to the chase. And
Yeah.
then the one night, I woke up and I could feel somebody laying next to me in the bed. And I opened my eyes, like I was laying like this, and I just opened
Mhm.
my eyes, and I saw this man sit. He was laying there. He sat up on the side of the bed, turned his body, and stood up from the bed and walked away. And I saw this with my own eyes. And I was
Oh
like,
my Lord.
I
Okay.
screamed,
Okay.
and I had such a blood curdling cry out of the depths of my soul. I've never been so frightened in all my life. So I turned on all the lights, turned on the, whatever I could, and I called my friend, and she's like, Jean, you need to, see somebody. There's no such thing as ghosts. You're not,
Oh
I'm sure
no.
what you thought you saw. So then I started telling my family, because after I saw him, I kept feeling him next to me and
Hmm.
hearing him breathing, and I knew he was there. Hmm.
Interesting.
Hmm. So,
That,
and
yeah.
if you want to stop there, we can ask questions,
Yeah,
and then
I
I'll.
want to know
Mhm.
about this energy that kept waking you up. But first, I want to go to a couple things I started from Tony. Um, she was wondering if there was some ley lines nearby, um, which would be interesting to find out. And then also, she's curious to know if it was around the 23rd summer or the 23rd of the year. You wouldn't know the date offhand when you moved in and things started happening.
It was around like 2002.
Okay. Well, 2 and 3. Yeah. So, Tony shared a similar experience. She had somebody get in bed and cuddle with her the first time she moved there. She just doesn't use that room anymore. All right, one of the things I pulled as you were talking and wanting about the energy, disregard that this says the Five of Swords. For me, this was just somebody who is very curious about you and wanting to find out more about you. And of course, the nighttime, you're more open at night while you're sleeping, and so that's the best time they can, like, let's say, study you. Um, and So that's how I felt from this card. So a lot of times when I read, I'm get intuitive hits on the images. And even though he doesn't look happy, it could have been this energy was like, hey, wait a minute, who are you? But I don't in the beginning, perhaps, I don't know, as we get on with your story, but I just feel like he was very, very curious about you, because I pulled the Empress card and I thought, okay, very curious about you, wanting to know why you were there, and recognizing your loving energy is how I feel with this, right there. So we can go further into that. So my question here for everybody was, what is the energy of the being that was waking her up at night? Okay, so Heather, male. So there was a man. So Peter, this particular question is asking, what is this energy that kept waking her up at night? Kept waking Jean and startling her. And oh my God, that would just, I would scream as well. Okay, so Tony's trying to be facetious. But it's funny though. There's a film with the thing that comes and eats comes to life and eats people. But 2003, there's a 2 and 3 for you there. Nancy feels like there's something that happened on the land before anything was developed. So there was unrest. I think Nancy was here in the beginning to know your story of the people. The bear card came out again for the man. Bears represent maternal energy. I think you were right, Ginger, that he was curious about who she was. Yeah. Very scary for you, but I guess you couldn't understand at that moment if the intentions at the moment, right? Because you were just so scared.
Right. I thought I was losing my mind for sure.
Right.
And all of my family felt,
like Peter said earlier, that it's important to have that right support system. So if you weren't getting good support and people saying you're losing your mind, of course you're going to go, am I?
But may I offer what I pulled, the card I pulled? So the card I pulled was the 8 of Swords, and it says self-imposed restriction to be lifted, isolation or bonds soon to be broken, self-honesty brings change, and beware paralysis of analysis. So I'm using like the helper cards.
I love those.
But the thing is, I pulled the 9 of Swords, the 10 of Swords. Those were both reversed. And then I pulled the 8 of Swords.
Did you shuffle that deck?
I did every time. Between every question I did. So, but if I may continue with the story a little bit.
Absolutely.
My little sister was concerned about my mental health. And she said, I want you to come over to my house and I want you to sleep over on the couch and see if you see any men, see if you see anybody. So I went over her house at her house, and I fell asleep on the couch. And the next morning we woke up and she said, did you see any men last night? I said, no, I had the best night's sleep I've had in ages because I kept getting woken up. I wasn't able to sleep through the night. I slept like a rock. So she's like, okay, that's it. I'm coming over your house and I'm going to sleep over your house and see if I see this man you keep telling me about. Because I said every night he's waking me up. And, they're like, there's no way there's a man in Jean's house. So she came over. And she was, she had kids. She left the kids with the husband and she had her sweatsuit on. And she just said, come on, let's go to bed. I'm tired. Let's just go to bed. And then, she had to get up the next morning and go to work. And she was just going through the motions. She's like, come on. In my bed. Yeah. I only had one bed.
Right.
So we both went upstairs and we went to bed. And she just kept her, sweatsuit on. It was, I guess, cold. And So in the middle of the night, she elbows me and she says, Jean. I'm like, what? She said, he's here. I said, I know. She goes, he's sitting on my feet.
Oh,
I said, oh my gosh. And we started
she was
screaming and
laying in his spot.
she was laying in his spot. He was sitting on her feet. She couldn't move her feet. They were paralyzed. She couldn't move her legs.
Oh my God.
And we just started like hanging on to each other and we were like twisting around and we turned on all the lights. We turned on the TV. We were like blared the TV. We didn't know what to do to get rid of him, you know? And I was sweating, I was crying, and we were both shaking like leaves. And she's like, I believe you. I believe you. And I'm like, I knew you would.
Oh my God.
Mm-hmm.
Wow,
Mm-hmm.
that's fascinating.
So, and if I don't think I would be sitting here today if it wasn't for her actually witnessing the
Right.
truth of him being there and waking us up. So,
Yeah.
mm-hmm. um, and and just to cut to the chase again, I did
Mhm.
eventually hire a medium, and she crossed him over for me,
Oh,
and
wonderful.
she offered her insights, but she said before he crossed over into the light, she said he turned around and said, "Thank Jean for me." And she thinks that he thought I was his wife, and he was
Wow.
waiting for his wife before he would cross over. So he was still in this earthly realm, and
Interesting.
mhm, and he was kind of waking me up thinking I was his wife. So number one of my questions was was a part of my soul ever his wife? Like was how
Ooh,
could he confuse me?
I want to
And
pull cards on that. Yeah.
mhm, mhm,
But
um, mhm.
well, as you were saying that, and I immediately was drawn to Antoinette's your trapped energy there. Um, so
Oh, that's him. He was
yeah,
stuck.
yeah, yeah. Yeah. And Peter says the background story is about a journey with his birth card. I imagine he's using his Anime Monday Oracle. The background story of that card is of the Anishinaabe. Anishinaabe. We'll pretend I know how to say that. Following sacred Magi shell. It's an awakening. It's a rediscovering of a tradition. Interesting. I'm wondering if we were just having to ask about your awakening to this process. So that would make a lot of sense. So yes, so we want to pull on. Let's ask that question, everyone. Is Gene's energy somehow connected with his wife's energy? Um, so we don't know if it's past life energy, um, just an ancestor of his wife's type of energy. Let's ask if and how Jean's energy is connected with this gentleman's um, wife's energy.
I
See, and
got the
I'm just glad that when I said this, don't look at this image, because I just didn't feel like it was malevolent. And you saying that medium said he that was just enough confirmation for me that he was just very curious about you. Meant no
so
harm.
I pulled the Five of Pentacles in reverse, and it says no assistance recovered. Poverty, giving up, and spiritual poverty. So this is definitely his his feeling. I think
Hmm.
I don't know if it answered that. Although the first word is no, so I would say that it was his uh, his loneliness and his loss, and it was just that I was at the right place at the right time, so to speak. That it wasn't. Um, It didn't have anything to do with me other than that I could sense him.
Well, and I just had a curious thought of what if he passed before his wife and he wasn't able to provide and have that nesting for her once he passed, and it put her into poverty, and you had that similar energy, and he was being protective over that. Just a thought.
Yeah, I do believe that he did pass before his wife because he was waiting for her before he crossed over. And then, she's since crossed and is on the other side, having a party, and he's still here waiting for her, looking for her.
It's funny you say that because out of this literally flew out of the deck. This is like celebrating.
That's
And that
her.
white horse is that transitional spiritual energy that carried her over, and they're happy together. Oh, that's wonderful. Okay, so we still want to know some connection. Is there a connection that Jean has that he was attracted to? Is there a connection that Jean has that this gentleman was attracted to? Let's put some cards on that one. Oh, look at this. This is commitment of
Wow.
loving energy. Yeah, you reminded him of his wife.
Wow.
That's amazing. All right, let me get the comments here real quick. All right. Crazy affirmation. Okay, so how do you feel? Do you feel that you had a connection?
I don't. I don't have that feeling. I do what I know is that I after that, soon after that, within 6 months, I met my husband and started dating my husband. And
I'm getting a little goosey bumpy there. Um, wow. Yeah. So I feel like there was an actual connection. You just reminded him of her, and for you to be a helpful tool in getting him to cross over to the light. Maybe him bringing you together with your husband at the time was his way of honoring you. I'm getting goose tingles everywhere on that one. Okay, so Heather also agrees there's no connection to his wife in particular. Tony says Queen of Four. Is there a Queen of Four?
Question four.
Okay, Storykeeper, now is time to question the narrative you allow in your ear. Acknowledge the stories and frustrations. I feel you remind him. So yes, she also feels you remind him. Peter, this chat is jumping now. It's about listening to the messages from spirit, accepting who you are. It's the same in the suit of water, east and down. Water, east, and dawn. Sorry, not down, dawn. I just recently got Peter's deck, so I'm looking forward to studying it a little bit because I'm fascinated with all that he put into this deck, and it's just awesome. Okay, so Heather Key, getting female child card. Jean reminded him of possible daughter. That question also crossed my mind, daughter energy, but it's also about communicating with the ancestors, that divine child. Oh, I just pulled that one the other day, actually, divine child. Terry Suzuki joined us. Thank you for joining us.
Hey, Terry.
Wow.
Thanks for coming.
Oh, yeah. Thank you for coming. Join in if you'd like. We're just having a really fascinating time already with this story. Does she know your story any?
I believe so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's been a while since I
Perfect.
talked to her about it, but
Yeah.
yeah, if anybody doesn't know, Terry and I work together on several shows pretty regularly, and we
Nice.
did our training together as well.
That's awesome. Yeah. Actually, it was a while ago when I saw that, and I've been meaning to try to find a way to connecting with you, Terry. I would love to do this show with you. Let's see. So, all right. All right. So, after this encounter with your sister, what happened? What did you guys do? Or what happened
Well,
next?
I contacted the medium,
Mm-hmm.
and she crossed him over. And when she, and she told me that he said thank you. She also said that she had to put a beam of light in the center of my home because above my bed there was a portal. And she said that that's may have been where that little boy was coming in and out, or where I also had an experience of supine paralyzation, like sleep paralysis.
Yeah.
But
Oh,
that I think was something a little different. I could feel that there was an entity in the room, and I felt like it was an off planet being during my sleep paralysis, because they're the only ones I know that can make you, affect you in that way.
oh, I did not know that. Really. All right.
Yeah.
Next step. I want to interdimensional being. I want to let's go there. You want to go there?
Yeah. So, I mean, there's just a lot of
Mm.
activity in that home. That's why I wonder the
Yes.
people that were disgruntled, and the people, like, did the father go crazy, and did he, you know, have, was there domestic abuse? Was there something that caused that family to go crazy and leave? And me, I'm like kumbaya. And, I'm like, oh, this energy, I wonder if the energy that was in that house that I felt when I was living there, and experienced all of these things, if this affected the family and caused them to either get
Mm-hmm.
fired, or lose their job, or the husband left
Mm-hmm.
because he couldn't stand all the energy in the house. I wonder, that's one of my questions is,
Yeah.
did all of these different occurrences that happened in the house to me, did it also happen in the house to the other family that left?
Right.
um, but yeah, so the paralyzation, and I told you I had to redo all of everything. I mean, just everything inside the house had to be torn down and
Yeah.
redone.
Yeah.
Um,
I'm sure that was welcoming energy to this home. I mean,
mhm,
homes themselves have energy.
mhm,
And they just that energy of that home probably just loved you. But
mhm.
but I've also known that there's other lines. There's lines other than ley lines, and I'm going to call them ley lines because I cannot remember what they are actually called. But if they're running a certain way, it's very disruptive. Or if they're crossing each other, it's disruptive. So there could have been a lot of uh, I don't know what those lines are called. I had someone come over to my house, and she said I had as unusual amount, and I had as many as a two-story home would have. But all my energies were she took away the wrong energies when she took away some of these lines. So, but some people they can't handle what could possibly be just high energy frequencies, and it just they're too sensitive and not even know it, and it could make them go mad, you know. Goodness sakes, Tony.
Gosh, that is scary.
Yes, that was going to be my next deal too, Peter. So okay, for let me go back to the beam. What did she do then?
She put a beam in the center of the house of light,
Okay.
because she called him in and had him go up through the beam to cross over to the Rainbow Bridge.
Mm-hmm.
And because there was a portal and there were entities coming in,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
easily, she said they would be drawn to the light in the
That's
center of the home and be crossed over automatically. Like, that was her intention. And she set up these energies to do that. She said, you may see some things flying around. She said,
oh,
but don't worry, they'll eventually be attracted to the light. I'm like, oh, great. You put this huge portal, another portal in my home to attract anything in the neighborhood to come in and
Oh
to
my
cross
God.
over.
Oh my God. Yeah. Yeah. So, wow. Okay. So, did she close this portal, or she just added that white light to
Remedy. She was able to remedy it by,
remedy
with
it?
that white light in the center of the home. Yeah.
Okay. All
She
right.
did suggest that I move my bed because my bed was
Was it?
creating an energetic because I had my bed catty cornered because of the way the windows were,
Mm-hmm.
and she said that that was creating a void and like if you're
Feng
catty
shui.
cornered, there's like a
Yeah.
space behind your bed, and she
Yes.
said that's like allowing space there. She said you want to be,
Mhm. That
so
makes
I
sense because in feng shui, you're not supposed to put the head of your bed in front of a window either. So that makes total sense to me. Okay. So,
and
all
I
right.
did, I moved my bed.
Yeah. All right. Let's just investigate the portal just for. And Ange, I meant to say welcome. Oh yes, Ange. This was very. You'll definitely would like to watch this playback. Jean is. We are investigating the very first home she bought, and there was some energies there. What you've missed so far was a gentleman energy that would wake her up at night,
Something
and
fell.
we feel like it reminded him of his wife. And here's some of the cards I pulled on that one. Um, so we were asking if there was connection there, and definitely. He was very curious about her and possibly reminded her of his wife. And shortly after getting help crossing him over, she met her husband, right? So, how long did you live before we go into the portal? How long did you live there before you met your husband?
Probably 5 years.
Okay, so quite some time passed after that. He crossed over. Okay. All right. So right now we want to, and Terry asked, did moving that bed help you? Were you sleeping better? But you were probably also sleeping better because he was
Yeah, I did. I
not there.
did. Hmm.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
Okay. All right. All right. So let's just ask about the portal. I'm trying to figure out how to phrase this question. I want to know if that portal was there as a vortex before the house was built. Um, was this portal after that fact? Let's just ask the energies of that portal. Asking about that portal. Once you found out it was a portal, what was your thoughts on that?
Oh, um, I thought it made sense that the guy that I was dating early on saw the little boy. I'm like, oh, that makes sense. Oh, that makes sense. And the supine paralyzation, the sleep paralysis, and the feeling that there was an entity in the room with me, and
Mm-hmm.
just and the place was cold. It was really, really cold.
Oh,
It just a lot of things made sense. I would smell things, like I would smell beer. And, I didn't drink beer. I didn't have beer. And the beer would be upstairs in the center bedroom. And when we
Mr.
bought the
Man likes
house,
his beer, liked his lager.
when I bought the house, I was cleaning it and there was a lot of junk and debris, and there was beer cans shoved down in one of the air vents. And it seemed like the teenager was, drinking beer and shoving it in it. But
Yeah.
that wouldn't make sense. Like, why would I smell the beer? And then, it would have to be one of the spirits that caused this uh, smell to come up.
Mm-hmm.
And I was dating my husband, and I said, "You smell that?" And he's like, yeah, what is it? I said, what does it smell like? He says, it smells like beer. He's like, what is that from? I said, that's the ghost. He's like, we're moving. Yeah.
Wow.
So I did, this card dropped out, and I don't know why I keep getting the swords. This is the Seven of Swords. I almost pulled every sword out of the deck so far, but this actually dropped as I was shuffling, and it says, beware of deceit or betrayal. And strategy and evasion solves a problem. It,
Interesting. Go ahead,
it
go ahead.
also says cunning thwarts an enemy. And it says sidestep the obstacle. So I feel as though this is talking about the portal that the woman put in the center of my home, the beam of light that
Mhm.
the medium put in the center of my home to counteract the portal from behind my bed. I know you can't see it; it's really
Yeah.
hard to see, but is it?
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was a little
Um,
bit, but
but I had the Nine of Swords, the Ten of Swords, the eight, nine, 10, and here's the Seven of Swords.
and she swears she's shuffled that deck.
I
Lot of,
did. Y'all saw
so,
me.
so what we're doing is
But
a
it
lot
fell
of
out.
swords and a lot of fire energy because I've been pulling wands except for the one swords, which was the curiosity card for me. But it's funny you bring in that swords when I brought in the tower for that portal. So that it's almost like that portal was not, it just happened out of nowhere type of thing. There was a lot of energy that created it, a lot of intense energy, a lot of you. I'm just, it's funny. It's just I see. Come on, all right, okay. All that lightning energy. Portal being light and all that powerful lightning energy. Forget the image of the faltering tower. I'm focusing more on that lightning energy. Let's see what the Heather pulled the chariot for the portal, and also Page of Swords and Fools. Jackie pulled Justice. Tony says the chariots, Page of Swords and Fools possibly makes the portal. Is that what you meant? Interesting because the magician jumped out. And then Tony says, disciple, right? Uh, disciple of ritual. Connected to all things is animistic. Okay, so sky south midday, spring equinox. The illustration is a version of Odin, the All Father. It's interesting, and is also known as father of magical songs. Dance to your own tune. I'm really connecting with that Odin thing and this for some reason. So that's something we might want to explore. Um, so that's fascinating. The portal. I should have written it down. There was something you said a minute ago regarding the portal. Um,
I was just reading the meanings on the card. Do you want me to read them again? The
um,
beware of deceit, strategy, and evasion solves a problem. Cunning thwarts the enemy, and sidestep the obstacle.
mhm. Okay, maybe it was. I wouldn't know how to phrase this. Hang on. The portal, was it unintentionally made? Because sometimes our energy, like I was told, I unintentionally made a vortex in my room, and that's where my visitors were coming in. And what it was, um, and you can feel it when you walk to it. And I've done the dowsing rods and everything. It's there, and it's the place where when I was learning Reiki, I would stand there every morning and do my power ball, putting my intentions and doing the whole and my manifestation, my prayers and everything. And that inevitably made a portal. So I want to know if something about this portal more. Let's see. Tony says the portal is something to draw energies. Ooh, it jumped. By whom? Yeah, see, that's what I'm wondering if this was, I think, intentional prior to the house was built. Yeah, I'm just getting some weird.
Who said that? Who said prior to
Tony? Tony's getting closer to what I'm trying to say. Before this house was built, there it was a portal that was formed. And there could have been already a vortex or portal energy, but somehow it was opened. And that's what I'm trying to figure out, how to phrase that into a question to pull cards. What'd you say? Equinoxes are powerful. You said so it was farmland.
Yeah, and those Pennsylvania Dutch, they're no strangers to hexes and things. You know, there's a lot of that old world country that came over and settled in that area. The farmers and things. But I just checked with my pendulum to see if the portal behind my bed was there before I moved in. It said yes.
Yeah.
And I asked if it was there before the previous owners moved in, and it said yes. But I can't help but think that all of this energy may have caused or aided in the trouble that the
yeah. So that's what I was just about to say. Actually, there was a ritual used and held. So that was going to be my question: was there magics performed on this land?
Yeah, they were I think it was more of like a religious kind of a thing, like those strict I'm just thinking like the old country or, Pennsylvania Dutch, I can't think of I'm just thinking of that movie Witness with yeah. And you know how they would all come together and build the barn, and the Amish people, and how much they would curse you if you didn't do or didn't say something, like they were so strict, and it was all about religion, and there was like a darkness to it too, that they would have rituals that were dark as well as the rituals that were positive. I mean, it's all crazy stuff, isn't it?
Yeah,
what people
it really
believe.
is, because I at one time was watching Amish hauntings.
Oh, so
I was watching. Yeah, I watch all things paranormal, and for a while there, I was watching this one show that was Amish hauntings. So I wouldn't be surprised if they wouldn't be dare called witches, but they, I'm sure, had to have some of their magical beings in the closet. Closet witchery.
Yeah. I wonder why those Pennsylvania Dutch had all those hex signs, or those anti-hex signs, all those things to ward off evil. I mean, why would they need to do that if they didn't, believe in it? But and I'm not saying that there's anything evil. I'm just saying that whatever it was I guess unnatural, or created, or
like I said, just my innocent little routine every morning that created a lot of energy. So it wasn't malevolent in my part, and I wasn't getting any malevolent beings coming through, but it does. So there, somebody was performing.
Heather has a good point there.
Yeah, I was already there. Okay, so, all right. Yes, yeah, I that's something I truly think that and they probably wouldn't call it rituals, but prayer is a ritual. I'm sure they thought about offerings or some sort of influencing. Yeah, the wise
Spirits.
women. Let's
The
see. Let's call them that. The wise women. Okay, let's do this portal thing. Did the wise women unintentionally create a portal? All right, were there magics performed intentionally or unintentionally that created a portal? I want to see what your thing says first.
So I asked the women, were the women of the land creating a portal? And it said no. And I said, were the men of the land creating a portal? And it said yes. So be careful. Yeah.
I got the community card too. So, and as you say that, and it could be all in movie watching for entertainment purposes only, it was the men you had to watch out for and stuff like that.
Because
They had their own ways of handling their laws, so to speak. Let's see, what was Peter saying? Dreams, fire of north, midnight, winter solstice, ancient wisdom, shamanism, transmuting and passing on strong medicine that are, oops, chat jumped, other world relatives offer us through our dreams. Um, so that made me think of solstice. They were very aware of their solstices and equinoxes back then, and because that's what they harvest, you know, schedule their harvests by. Um, she's not using the W word. She's just acknowledging that the word witch has so much stigmata. They're wise women. I'm down with it. Okay. She's down with using witch. Okay. Um, Creatix. Are you using the Dreamscape Tarot or Dream Tarot? Yeah, that one. Okay, so let's get on with your story. It's already been an hour, almost over an hour here. Okay, so once you've thinking that the portal's taken care of, um, how did that make you feel, and did anything happen after that?
I did have few things that sort of like flashes out of the corner of my eye. Um, maybe sounds, but nothing that ever woke me up. And that thing that was following me, that was watching me everywhere I went, and when I looked in the mirror, I would like it. That was gone. That presence, that sense of
Right,
somebody watching me.
it's definitely gone.
Um, yeah, that was
Mm-hmm.
gone. So I think that the beam in the center of the home that was attracting all of the, roaming spirits I mean,
Mm-hmm.
obviously had worked. And yeah.
So I've got this image of what I was told was happening in my home as well. It was more of a spiritual highway. They were visitors, coming, going. There were no ill intentions. They were just visiting, and that's what you were seeing around you.
I
That's what,
think so. I
yeah.
think so. But and a part of me just wants to know is, I mean, it did. I say that this was a pinnacle moment and an earth-shattering opening moment for me, that I was never the same since, and I just was
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
insatiable with trying to find out more and more about the spiritual world. And I, got into feng shui, and I got into crystal healing. I got into Reiki and shamanic energy healing. I mean, I
Mm-hmm.
was just incessant with trying to
Yeah,
find out what's it all about, because I
yeah,
knew what I saw, I knew what
yeah,
I
yeah.
felt, and I knew what I heard. Um, and I just wanted to know more. So
Yeah.
was it that
I
that
feel you were called to that whole situation, that whole property as part of your awakening.
pre-life plan?
Mm-hmm. Could be. But as far as mediumship is concerned, um, it takes that tower moment, so to speak, to say, whoa, whoa, did I see that? And for you to have the confidence is, yes, I did see that. Now what do I do with this information? And which led you to the medium and so on and so forth. And now look at you here today. Like you said earlier, you would not be here today had those
Mm-hmm.
experiences not happening.
So Peter has a question that I think is interesting.
This one?
Yep. So he wanted to know if anything followed me after moving from that house. And I moved into a house outside, closer to Philadelphia, outside of Philadelphia with my husband. And I was not disturbed but I did hear footsteps coming up and down. It was like an older home, and it was
Mm-hmm.
like a colonial brick home, and it had wooden stairway. It was gorgeous. I mean, all hardwood and,
Wow.
really beautiful home.
I'm
But
jealous I haven't seen it.
you would hear the footsteps coming up and down the stairs and, throughout the hallways upstairs. And I would hear it while I was sleeping or waking up or something. And I would tell my husband, and he's like, I don't hear anything. And that was that. But I have had other experiences. Like, we went to Boston and we did the Boston tour, and you found out about Paul Revere and, like, all the
Mm-hmm.
Civil War soldiers, and all the we toured the graveyards and stuff like that. And in the hotel room, I had um, an energy follow me back that I had to say, "Get out of the hotel room." I don't think it was the hotel room. I kind of feel like I picked it up from reading all of those headstones. I don't know. I mean, who
Oh,
knows where
could
I
be.
picked it up?
Could be.
But
Yeah.
so I had other occurrences. Whether it was something that followed me, I don't think so, but I had more sensitivity and more awareness of the
Mhm.
energies around me after that, for sure.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's where I was going to go with that. That you awakening into your mediumship abilities. So now that you were aware of that, I feel that you going anywhere anymore. So you would have to learn to turn it off when you wanted to, right? Um, but yet at the same time, did you want to be open to that experience as well, or a part of you wanted to be open to that?
I wanted to learn more. I don't know that I wanted to. Um, I think I think I wanted to understand what happened to me. I wanted to understand what I saw and why he was there. I mean, that was
Mhm,
like
mhm,
you know, and whenever I heard of a ghost story, like, we had a family friend who said his grandmother's house was haunted, and he would see the rocking chair move, and they would put pillows and stuffed animals on the bed, and then when they came back from work, the pillows and the stuffed animals would be in another room somewhere. Like, things
right.
would be moved around, and so strange happenings would occur in his home. And I said, I believed you when you told me all that. I said I was really interested, and I believe that you saw and what went on in your house really happened. I said, but I didn't really believe until the day that I saw that man. I said, now I know what you're talking about. Like, you believe it. You believe that what they're saying is true, but the actual experience really is like a whole,
It's like a surface
it's
belief. I believe you, but oh my God, to experience is like it's not here yet. I believe you. Uh-huh.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
fascinating.
Hmm.
Did you ever wanted to learn about the boy? Do you want to pull cards on the boy, or are you good? Do you
We
have any
could.
questions, or
Mhm.
do you have any other questions you would like to know about?
Well, the questions that I wrote down was it part of my awakening,
Mm-hmm.
and was I ever his wife, like in
Mm-hmm.
another life?
Mm-hmm.
We said no. And I don't know why I'm just a little. we did try and find out if the occurrence, if that activity was in the home.
That's what I
uh,
wanted to pull on. Yeah.
mhm,
You want to do
with the
that?
previous owners that were, yeah,
Yeah.
just, yeah,
Right.
because I
Yeah.
I do think that they fell on hard times, that
Hmm.
I don't know if something happened, somebody was in an accident and lost their job, or somebody lost their
Hmm.
job and I mean, something
Yeah.
happened to that
Hmm.
family that caused them
That
to
just
default
stirred
on
up.
their mortgage.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Okay. So, do we want to pull on the energy of the family then? Did
Sure.
you
Yeah,
want?
let's do.
Okay. Okay. So we're going to pull on the energy of the family that lived in her home. For those of you who came in late, this family was possibly evicted and very angry and totally trashed this home. Um, so, um, did this energy of this family, because I want to know two things. Were they affected by this portal? Do we want to do a two-part thing? Were they affected by the energies that made them be less fortunate? And
That was the
then
question. And
that,
then what would be
okay.
the second one?
Well, that would probably be it, because I was just wondering if that then stirred up other energies. But since you didn't
Mm.
feel that there was anything malevolent, I don't think that's a necessary question now.
Mm. Yeah,
Um,
I did feel like the anger left over in the home. I did feel the
Definitely,
emotion and like the yelling and
that
the
was
screaming and the.
physically apparent. Okay, so the question then was the energies that are in this home from the portal or the land affect the outcome of this family?
So I pulled the Knight of Wands, and it says energetic, passionate, and lustful, adventurous, charming, creative, news of travel, home, or work, driven. What does that say? Oh, goal oriented, and fiery young man. Um, I don't. From this, I'm getting that somebody was a hothead, and
Mhm.
that this was a irrational, emotional, aggressive type of person who moved into the home. It wasn't the home or the energies that caused that. I don't think so.
Mhm.
I feel as
Okay.
though this was the energy
Yes.
that moved in. It was all of their own making
Right.
and doing.
Okay. So how about, did the energies of the home exaggerate that? Maybe.
Oh,
Yeah. Do the energies of the home, the property, the land, the surroundings, um, exaggerate the original soul personality? I got the the chariot. So that's kind of a yes for me, because chariot's all about harnessing the opposing energies. So it's like good and evil type, in his head. And I don't know why I just thought of the Lutzes. Let me just pull one more on top of that. And then I got the Eight of Wands. So a lot of fast moving energy within that home. And he was unable to contain his own anger and energies, and things, littlest things, even like beer, would just exaggerate it all. Um, so because some people say they're a good person until they start drinking. It could have been something like that. That he not that he was a good person to begin with, but there's the happy drunk, and then there's the very very fiery drunk, we'll say. There's just a lot of fiery energy that we've been pulling in the swords energy. So that's all that communication, and maybe he himself had a communication breakdown in the first place.
I
One
feel
that
as though the aggressor, whether it was the man or the woman, which we all suspect it's the man,
Mhm.
was unable to maintain his power over the family and was losing his control because of the energies that were opposing him in the home, did not allow him to have the same power that he had before moving into there. And I think that's what he was, chased away. I feel as though that there was something
that
opposing him. Hmm. That he had the
yeah.
control. He was abusive, and he was abusive before, and he thought he could still be abusive. And then when he moved in there is when it all fell apart.
Well, yeah, because I'm getting this, because when you moved in, I felt this protective energy of this man. So that protective energy was probably there, and I think you hit on something, but because it was blocking him from being more abusive than who are you laughing at? And that in turn makes them even more angry.
Yep.
And then they can't function even outside of home at the job sites. So I'm going to go back up to Heather's, make my way down. They could feel like their house was stolen from the bank. They were affected by what is their hothead was brought out more.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep.
I'm laughing because at a glance, I saw my name, not anger. Enhancing the already ginger. What? Oh, I just. Okay, fire, presence, summer solstice. Even though we're in a tough predicament, we have a choice. The person may not have chosen wisely. Chose from hot-headed emotion instead of thinking clearly, which makes sense too with all those swords you have over there. Somebody wasn't thinking clearly. Very driven personality, unbalanced energy, very fiery and controlling and toxic, which brings out the domineering element. Also got the King and Queen of Wands and the Moon. And yeah, okay. So definitely there was some residual energy that was left behind as well. But I feel like you did a good job of clearing that out when you came in.
I know, because I could feel the negativity in the home. I could feel the
Yes.
anger. And I
Yeah.
knew that it was because they destroyed the place that there was anger. And I knew that once I cleaned it up and made it all pretty and, burned the sage and did the salt and I did everything I
Mhm.
possibly could, that I tried to right the
Mhm.
wrong. But I think that his anger
Mhm.
may have stirred up the energy to begin with. But whatever happened, whatever the reason, whatever our answers uncovered, I do feel as though it's a blessing for me and for my development, and that I was able to go through that, even though it was very difficult and trying. And if my sister never slept over, I don't think I would be here today. I think that they would all just think that I was crazy and,
And you would have
shun me
pursued
from the family.
your purpose.
So everything happens for a reason, y'all.
Yeah.
It's all divine, orchestrated
Intervention. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Is there anything else you want to ask about, or how do you feel right now?
Well, I kind of want to
You
know
got some answers?
if the gentleman that was waking me up that I helped him cross over, if he
Uh-huh.
really did uh, bring my husband or help me to meet my husband, if
Okay.
that really was like the cause or effect to that.
I can't tell you how much I'm feeling this. I'm having the most intense tingles all up down my back, neck, head, arms, and it's like that was a huge confirmation of yes. um, I want to do something real quick. I don't know. I don't know if I'll use this card, but they're all agreeing. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. Yeah, don't need cards for that. Yeah. Let's say, how about the relationship between, what's your husband's name?
Frank.
Frank. All right. Did our children help bring the two together? I don't use these cards this often, so I wanted to see if they would work in something like this. Okay. Give thanks for the blessing of love soon to come your way. Know that you deserve to be and have all that your heart truly desires. So,
Oh, look at that. Beautiful.
so I say yes. I think along with the help of your guides and angels as well, you know. But I still feel very, I can't tell you the tingles that are going on right now. Um,
He he was very grateful that he was
yes,
released from
we
that
just
torment.
honor,
Mhm, mhm.
honor to.
And Peter said he pulled the Lover's card, so yep, yep.
Shall we? Because I'm feeling very connected with that right now. I want to pull a message. Does he have a message for you?
Oh, wow. Oh my gosh. I got Temperance and I see the angel and I feel as though he's in the glorious place, being an angel in, with the angels now. I'm just reading the
Yeah,
image. I don't know what that means.
right. So I have the Nine of Pentacles, which is you having your dreams come true. Everything's come to fruition. And I feel like this, yes, he was helping you, you're guiding to, but he was a part of that. Um, Justice card, part of helping everything come into balance in your life. And the Queen of Cups is just, I feel like this was confirmation here of you reminding him of his wife, and he's grateful to you helping bring the two together.
That's
Amen.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Even Michael Saunders got a yes. Thank you very much,
I
guys.
I cannot tell you. I'm just
Antoinette got a
goosebumps
yes, and
everywhere.
Peter got a yes,
Yeah.
Michael got a yes, Indigo got a
Mm.
yes. It was, I mean, it was uncanny how that happened, and you know, my husband is a blessing, and I thought it was all my sisters. I have many sisters, and my family were praying for me to find a husband, and you know, uh, I was manifesting a husband. I had written down. You ever hear the book? It's called the Passion Test,
No.
and it's about manifestation. And you write down like 100 things of what you want, and then you get like the top 50, and then you get the top 25, and then you get the top 10, and then you write, sort of like how it would feel if you got this, and so it's like an elimination, and it really drills down to like the core feeling and the core aspects. And I remember doing that, and I remember writing down integrity was one of my most important things. Like he could be funny or not, he could be bald or have a full head of hair, he could be tall or short, like those things didn't matter to me, but having integrity was one of the most important things. So I sort of put this wish list together as I was dating online. And a lot of these online dating things asked you like what you would like, and what's your
Yes.
hobbies? Do you
Yes.
like pets? Do you not like pets? And this and that. So, yeah. And yeah,
Is that how you
he's,
met? Doing that?
yeah, we met online.
I
Hmm.
am so fearful of that. It's probably why I'm still single.
This is going
This is why
back
I'm still single.
many years. Yeah.
That's wonderful.
Yeah. You always let somebody know where you're going, and you only meet in public
Yes.
places. And
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah. And daylight. You always meet. Yeah. Wow. So this was wonderful. Jean, I really enjoyed this reading. This was fun. Do you feel like you have some questions answered? and
Absolutely.
enjoying this. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, and I didn't realize how much that family meant to me until now. I hadn't thought about the family that
Wow.
left until today. And today I
Yeah.
was uh, very curious as to what the effect was, or
Hmm. Hmm.
how that all affected them.
Yeah.
Um, I hadn't thought about that until today, so that really cleared up a lot of that. And
Good.
it was interesting. But this is the first time I used tarot cards live on YouTube in like 2 or 3 years. So
Awesome.
thank you for the opportunity. Thank you for helping me through it, and for
Wonderful.
kind of giving me the tip of put the cards down, don't put them back in the deck. I would, I didn't know.
Yeah,
So
because
hopefully,
because then you can revisit the story too, and you'll find sometimes maybe that those cards, other cards, may or may not change. Not that they'll change their meaning, but you add another flavor, another layering to the reading. But I really enjoyed the cards that I got, especially when we were talking about the gentleman.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And that he was not there to harm you. He was very curious about you. He loved your energy, and that reminded him of his wife, beloved wife, and you helping him cross over. I loved that whole energy, that whole feeling that gave. I'm sure everybody in chat that romance. We all want to hear a romantic story, and how he wanted to help you because he felt honored. um,
And
I just,
that's how much he loved his wife.
yes,
He loved his wife. He loved me like
very
he loved
sharp.
his wife.
Yeah.
They were so much in love, and he was so determined to wait for her. He was so much in love with her. It was his love story that, I
Yes.
was.
And it could also be a form of, because I want to go back to some of the cards that you pulled about poverty energy, and how I almost really feel that when he passed, maybe he didn't have a life insurance, or maybe he didn't have a lot of, like I said, good nesting for her. Maybe his way of helping you would help him
Oh,
along there as well. He wants to help those who are in that position. Um, but it was a lovely story. And Peter said something else I wanted to bring up. Okay, because his cards are so poetic. The winds have changed. Whether you are taking your first breath or your last breath, it's time to take flight. It's the spiritual man. Protection. Breath connects this life to the divine.
wow.
That's beautiful. And these are channeled messages from Peter to his oracle deck.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Your messages speak truth to the power he wants you to give up the negative self talk. Celebrate your gifts and what you have and who you are. Be true to you. Okay. So I'm happy you are here too, Peter. I'm happy all of you joined us today and helped make this story come alive. And I'm glad that I'm glad it was one of those kind of happy ending investigations, and it's not, oh my god, that dark energy is still there. I don't believe. Sometimes that's a question I would ask too, but I don't feel like we have to ask that question. I think you brought light into that home, or enhanced the light that was there, and it just helped you towards your purpose, which in turn spreads that love and light to us all. So thank you for letting us
Yeah.
do this.
Yeah, it was very interesting, and it was lovely to incorporate the chat, because we call them the chat, but they are highly vibrational, intelligent, gifted, and have many abilities. All of
Yes.
the
Yeah.
energies that everybody surrounded us with, and
Mhm.
held space for us, and played along. I think it was just beautiful. Uh,
Very
it was it was.
yeah.
It was really a lot of fun to work with everybody here. I
Yes.
felt like we were all in a circle together.
Yes. I call them my ethereal friends because we're all connected through the internet and the divine. I feel that Ethernet, but we don't plug into that Ethernet anymore. But it happens. It's divinely connected. So,
For sure. For sure.
wow.
And
So,
thank you for inviting me,
oh, look at
Ginger.
this. Marie's been, I keep calling her Marie. It's her middle name, and I keep calling her that. Did you happen to have somebody that always called you by your middle name? But she was lurking. Um, beautiful, beautiful.
Well,
Um,
thanks. Thanks
amazing
for lurking.
souls. I
Yeah.
love it. I love it. So, all right, everyone. I have usually this cool outro. Well, actually, I can still play the outro. It's not too spooky. But I just wanted to thank, first of all, Jean for allowing us to hold this space, and um, it was just a beautiful, another one of those, for me to say it doesn't always have to be a scary investigation. Look what we brought in. We brought in love and light and a romantic story and answers. And I thank you all for sharing that with us tonight, and being a part of this. So I love this. So, do you have anything coming up you want to tell everyone about?
Oh, I'll be on Allie Heart and Soul Connected tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific. And then I'll be with Terry Renner holding your space at 3 p.m. Eastern.
Okay,
So
Terry.
have a busy day tomorrow.
Hey. Wonderful, wonderful. Next week, I think I have Jason back on, Jason Topinski. Did I say that right? Topinski. And then I don't, my calendar's downstairs, of course. But thank you, everyone who've just been supporting us, and we love you all. And until the next time, I'm going to play my spooky outro. So
Thanks,
here we
everybody.
go. Thank you all for coming. Thank you for watching.